Hi Megan. I'm sad today. 'Cause, yeah. But I'm still gonna make a video. And maybe this will cheer me up. Okay. My Jane Eyre scarf came in the mail. Look how pretty. It has Jane Eyre, and it has the part where, Miss Jane is all like, Mr. Rochester, you like Blanche, so I have to leave. And he's like, nuh-uh, I like you. And it's like, oh, and then they kiss. And that's a good part. It also covers up hickeys, which is good, because some families seem to think St. Patrick's Day is an appropriate time for family dinner, when in reality, it's an appropriate time where people get wasted. And I just think that's a little weird. But anyway, so it's serving a purpose today. Thank you, scarf. I like you, scarf. So you asked me about a book that changed my outlook on life. And I have The Great Gatsby here, which kind of the message behind it is that, like, you can't really control the future or relive things that happened in the past, and that you kind of just need to, like, go with the flow, really, because Gatsby goes to crazy extents to win Daisy back, to, like, relive the great thing they once had, and he just can't do it, because it's just not how it works. And, it's a good thing to keep in mind, that you can go to all the crazy extents you want, but it still might not turn out exact. That's depressing. But, yeah. Keeps you level-headed, I guess. Another one is Jane Eyre, which I have here. My dog-eared, page-flagged, written-on copy of it. And there are some really nice quotes in here. I was going to read some, but I couldn't decide on one. So that just, it has a lot about self-respect, I guess. There's one that I have flagged where she's trying to decide to actually leave. And the line is, "Who in the world cares for you, or who will be injured by what you do?" Still indomitable was the reply, "I care for myself. The more solitary, the more friendless, the more unsustained that I am, the more I will respect myself." And then it goes on to talk about morals and keeping your morals, and how morals aren't meant to be abandoned in times of crisis. They're meant to be, held to. They're made for times of crisis, which is just a really, really good thing to keep in mind, because I know so many people, not just me, but a lot of people who are like, will set these boundaries for themselves, and then when they're in a position where they're like, oh, maybe I kind of feel like breaking that boundary, they do, and then they feel bad about it afterwards. And I hear them talk about it beforehand, like, no, I think this is a good idea. I think, usually I don't do this sort of thing, but I think this time is a good idea. And then afterwards they're like, oh god, why did I do that thing? I shouldn't have done that thing. And I'm like, So, but anyway, just that little bit there is kind of nice, because it's like, I don't know, it's important that some people think, like, who cares about you? And that's depressing, and that means that they shouldn't care about themselves. When in reality, when you don't have anyone around to rely on, you have yourself to rely on, and so you're important to yourself. That makes sense. I'm making sense. And, Judy Blume's Forever, which taught me that guys actually name their penises, and then later I learned that nobody does this, so that book lied to me. So here's my question for you. What's a book that lied to you? What is a book that made you think that a thing was a well-known, like, fact of life, and you're like, oh, obviously, and then you find out, no, that's not true at all. That's not at all true. No, it's not true. My example is Judy Blume Forever, and in it, her boyfriend's you-know-what is named Ralph, and I was talking to a guy friend once, and I was like, oh yeah, it was something about, like, boys, and I was like, oh yeah, boys name their you-know-whats, and he's like, no they don't, nobody does that, and I'm like, really? I thought everyone did, and so I asked a few more people, and nobody does that, and I was like, oh, okay. The book lied to me. Judy Blume, you suck. It's kind of a silly example, but I don't know. So what's a book that lied to you and made you believe something that turned out to not be true? Please don't cite religious texts, because that could be offensive or something. I don't know. I don't like to talk about religion. Okay, I'm gonna go watch Celebrity Rehab / My Drunk Kitchen, depending on what I feel like. And then I'm gonna go eat green things for dinner. And I hope you have a nice St. Patrick's Day. Don't party too hard, Megan. I know how much you love smoking the weed and drinking the booze. JK, everyone, Megan doesn't do that. Okay, bye!